What's up, YouTube? I'm here to talk to y'all about the one and only series, Mortal Kombat. They have a new game coming out called Mortal Kombat 1, as I'm sure you know. And I'm pretty hyped for it. I'm hoping it's an upgrade, not a downgrade. And of course, you have the man himself, Ed Boon. He says on June 8th, there's going to be some actual gameplay. Because as you know, when Mortal Kombat got revealed, there was no gameplay at all. It was just a cinematic trailer. Now, don't get me wrong, that was a badass trailer. Seeing the fire guy Luke Kang ripping the shit out of Shang Tsung. That was some nice shit. But I'm not into Mortal Kombat for the cinematics. And I'm mainly here for the gameplay. And from what I've been seeing so far, we got none of that. But that should change on June 8th. And hopefully, the gameplay with this new game is gonna be better than 11. Yeah, I can't really point out X because, in my opinion, X was the best one, and I'll get into that later. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped for the gameplay of the new Mortal Kombat, though. But today, I'm gonna compare Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11, and explain why I think, in my opinion, that Mortal Kombat X is just way better when it comes to gameplay. Like I say, I don't really care too much about the story and cinematics. I just go watch a fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care about that shit. But they both have some good stories, though. The boss for MK11 could be better, and Mortal Kombat X's ending could have been better. A big ass demon getting whooped by a teenage girl. Man, another round. But yeah, I'm mainly gonna be comparing the gameplay with these two games. So let's get started. All right, I'm gonna kick it off with the variation system. Both Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11 has this, but I'm gonna start with Mortal Kombat X's variation system. So in Mortal Kombat X, the concept is that each character has three variations. That means each variation has its own set of move sets. So the good thing about this is that you won't get overwhelmed by the all the possible moves of one character. So they broke it down into three groups. So one group you could do these special moves, a different variation you could do these special moves. So it doesn't overwhelm the player with all these special moves that they can do. So that's the good part I see. My issue with this is with some of these characters like Raiden and Sub Zero, I feel like some of their core moves shouldn't be limited to variations. For example, Raiden, his teleport ability is limited to the displacer. So you can only teleport if you pick the displacer Raiden. And it's the same thing with Sub Zero's Ice Clone. Uh, I forgot what name of variation that was, but there's a certain variation that you can only do the ice clone in that variation. If you pick another variation, you can't do the ice clone. Grandmaster, that's what it's called. But you can't do the ice clone unless you pick the Grandmaster variation. And I feel like, okay, that's what makes Sub Zero Zero, his ability to, control ice. He always knew how to do the ice clone. Same thing with Raiden. Like he always teleported. Why would you limit that to a variation? But other than that, though, it makes the game more, fun. You could each variation, you could have its own set of unique combos. Master and learn the variation, you could, pull something off special. All right, now for Mortal Kombat 11's variation system, and I'm gonna be honest, I like what MK11 did, and I think MK11 did this better than MKX, because in this concept, the player basically has a choice. Like even with the variations in Mortal Kombat X, like those variations had preset moves, like they were already preset. In Mortal Kombat 11, you could just choose any move you want and just start throw them on your player. So if you don't like one move, just swap it out. Just pick another move, and you can play online with this as long as it's not competitive mode. And yeah, I like this concept. And not only that, that they didn't just only give you the choice of choosing your moves, like you get to customize your character's clothes, their weapons, their masks. Yeah, that was, I mean, I really don't care too much about that kind of stuff, but still, though, from like looking at it from like a creator's perspective, like that's pretty next level, give the player a choice. So when it comes to stuff like customization, variation, Mortal Kombat 11 beats Mortal Kombat X on this one. So, all right, now I'm about to get into one of the features that made me love MKX even more, and what kind of made me disappointed in MK11, and that's the running feature. Now, some of you might not care about the running feature, but for me, it makes the match more aggressive, and overall, it just speeds everything up for me. And for me, it kind of, it gives me attack mode energy, and sometimes I could spook my opponent. And when I run towards them, they're like, "Oh shit, he's getting aggressive." Sometimes they don't know how to react, and by the time they want to react, it's too late. I'm already getting some hits in, and just look at this. Just take a look at this clip. Now, as you can see, Scorpion just gave Sub-Zero an urgent ass beating. See how fast and aggressive that shit was. I don't get that in MK11. Like, I just dashing, everything feels more slower, that the movements and all that. But, the runner feature, it at least speeds things up for me. And, that's one of the features I feel like they should have, put in MK11 for everybody. Because in MK11, some of these players have the running feature. Like, I think Jade and Terminator, they could run in one of their moves. But, for every player, it's just dashing. I feel like it's just slow, Man, I mean, sometimes in MK11, I feel like a snail trying to move towards my opponent. Now, I'm not saying it's unbearably slow, but I'm just used to faster gameplay, you know, at least being able to make the game faster. So, yeah, like when it comes to this feature, of course, I say MKX did it better, and I hope to see this in MK1. Another thing I love about MKX is the ability to pull off long combos. Sometimes you don't even need to use a bar. You don't even need to use any meter sometimes to pull off a 10-hit combo, depending on how you pull off those hits. But you don't see this in MK11. We'll get to that later. But MKX, it's just you can mix the moves together in a way that it allows you to pull off more hits. Of course, when you're the one getting hit, it doesn't feel good. Some people don't like the juggling, but I don't mind that. It's part of the game. And when you know how to do it yourself, it just feels good. Another thing with MKX is that not all characters have to have a juggle combo in order for you to launch them into the air. So that means your character doesn't have to be a juggle character for you to launch your opponent into the air and get big combos. And you do this by using something called a jump neutral. So this is where you just jump straight up into the air and attack. If you do this in MKX, this will bounce your opponent off the ground like a basketball and launch them into the air so you can get more hits in. You won't see this in MK11. I think Scorpion is the only person that can do this, but that's a certain variation or something like that. So, yeah, MKX is better when it comes to these jump neutrals. All right, now I'm about to get into the gameplay, starting with MK11. And MK11 added a lot of new things. They added the defense meter, um, attack meter. The attack meter is basically the meter, the regular meter, just enhances your stuff, enhances your super moves. Uh, the defense meter helps you get out of situations. Like if you're getting juggled, you can escape, or you can, if you're on the ground, you can roll away from your opponent and get away from him if he's too aggressive. They added crushing blow, fatal blow, stuff like that. Right there, there's crushing blow. You know, I like that concept, crushing blow. Um, you get to deal more damage to your opponent based on circumstance. They also added wake up attacks, so if your opponent's being too aggressive, you can just do a wake up attack. You know, sometimes you can even knock them into the air. Uh, they also added something called flawless block, which was pretty unnecessary, so I ain't even gonna get into that. Uh, fatal blow. How I feel about that is, it's like it's too slow. Like I wanna MKX, you build up your meter, you ready to do your special, just do it. You don't have to wait until your opponent beats the shit out you until you're able to, I guess rage and do that fatal blow. And even then, the fatal blow may not be enough, and you end up losing a match possibly because, let's say your opponent has a full bar of health, and you get a fatal blow off, and you barely put a dent in there, but you are already about to die because you already in a raid. So it's like, man, I could have. What was this earlier in the match? So the fatal blow, I feel like it's kind of useless. I feel like they should have just stuck with the regular meter to get the full super. You know, yeah. And again, I'm not saying MK11 is a bad game. I'm just comparing it to MKX. Uh, I'm used to, like with MKX. I'm just so used to the fast gameplay and the ability to pull off long combos. And again, with MK11, the combos are so dull. Most of them, at least, are dull and short. Uh, I think Kung Lao and Liu Kang has the best combos. I think I haven't really played with everybody because I just wasn't that interested, to be honest. I picked my few characters and just see what they can do. Yeah, I think Kung Lao has the longest chain combos on here, which is why he used to be my favorite. The first months I was playing online. Yeah, yeah. But back to the point, like most of the characters, the combos are really just dull and short. Easy to pick up. That a kid can pick up most of these combos. And I think that's what they were aiming for when they made this game. Like they knew that not everyone played fighting games, so I think they wanted to reach a broader audience, reach as many people as they could, and it makes sense. And I'm not gonna knock them for that. Do your thing. It's just that I'm used to better and faster. From MKX. And when I say the combos are dull, I don't mean that you can't do long combos in this game. Of course, you can do super long combos in this game. Like I've been doing them with Scorpion, Kung Lao, and Sub Zero. And when I say the combos are dull, I mean the combos that don't require meter. Like let's say you don't have meter, you have the crushing blow. You stuck with the same dull, the same 3-hit, 4-hit, maybe 5-hit combos. Whereas in MKX, you like a lot of the times you got different factors where you can mix up to create the extra combos. Even if you don't have the meter for it, like you can use the jump neutral, for instance, and that's the main thing. Like the jump neutral gives you like a extra window to get more hits in. And like I say, with this game, if you don't have the crushing blow, if you don't have the meter, you stuck with the same dull combos. So overall, gameplay wise, I got a I gotta say MK11 was a downgrade. All right, now we're about to get into some MKX gameplay. Uh, the beauty of MKX is like MK9. It's not too simple where it'll get dull eventually, and at the same time, it's not too complex to the point where the player will get overwhelmed by the fighting system. I'm not saying MK11 is overly complicated, but it does have some features where it's just unnecessary. For example, the flawless block, you know, not to be honest, who was looking to block it at the perfect time? Like that was a I saw no use in that feature, and I've never came across anyone who used it online. And that feature was useless. Another thing you'll notice about MK11 is just how fast the game just runs, how fast the match feels. And if you wanted to pick up the pace and rush your opponent, just you can just run to him. That's another thing about MKX. You can pick up the speed whenever you want. Like you can change the pace of the match whenever you want. Like it's not limited to a slow match. The mechanics of MKX, it makes it so that eventually one of the players will pick up the pace of the match. It's the same. It's always been that case ever since I started playing, even in playing online. Either my opponent sped up the match or I sped up the match. MKX just was not meant to be a slow game, and that's why I love it. It may be because I'm a fighting. I play fighting games a lot, so I'm used to it. And not everybody plays fighting games, and I that's another thing I try to understand when I try to make these kind of videos, is that not everyone is just adapted to moving like that, and I get it. But I'm used to it. So at a certain point, I just like I want the game to move faster. Like with MK9, like I was good at that. I got so good. There were moments where I was like, all right, let's pick up the speed. Like I know what to do now. Like I know what's coming next. And when MKX came out, I thought that was just gold. Hopefully MK1 will be faster. But MKX has perfect game speed. And I hope that MK1 matches MKX's speed or is close to it. Because for me, that's what makes the game. It's part of what makes the game a lot more interesting, because the game is never slow with MKX. Like somebody's always making a move, and you have to be fast enough to react. And that's one of the main things that keeps me coming back to it. And of course, the game speed doesn't make or break the game. It's just one of those things that keeps me coming back. We are different. And that's not what made me pick MKX over MK11. Like there's a couple of factors, but the speed was one of the main factors. But all in all, like MK11 is a good game. I just prefer MKX. And with I think it was June the 8th that Ed Boon said he was gonna release some gameplay. Yeah, I'm hoping to see that. And even if MK1 is slow like MK11, like I say, that doesn't make or break the game. It's other factors that can bring me, make me interested in playing the game. Boom. Look at that shit. Alright, that wraps it up for the gameplay. Now, this last point, it has nothing to do with the other points, but it's damn near unforgivable, man. Just look at this shit right here, man. Look at that. What the hell was that? So this is what passes off in MK11 as the Scorpion's spear chuck. Now, If you're an MK fan, this isn't your first MK game. We all know that once you get hit by the spear chuck, you're supposed to be stunned. You're not supposed to just slice your opponent and just throw him away. He's supposed to be stunned so you can get some extra hits in. But this right here, this is just come on now. So their idea is that if you wanna have the if you want the attack that we all know and love, you gotta burn some meter. That is just ridiculous, man. You gotta spend meter just to do a classic. Okay, the crushing blow was nice. I might just give this shit a pass. Well, that wraps that up. Obviously, I chose MKX over MK11. For me, what it boils down to is the feel of the game and the speed of the game. Like I said before, MK11 is not a bad game at all. It's actually a decent fighting game. I just feel like it was a downgrade compared to X and 9. With that said, when it comes to content, I think MK11 beats both X and 9. It's because MK11, especially with the variation system, you have a choice. Like the moves that you have it doesn't have to stay that way. Like it doesn't have to stay preset. You can swap out whatever moves you want. You can change your costumes, animations, all of that. So when it comes to features and content, like Mortal Kombat 11 beats X and 9. With that said, I don't play Mortal Kombat for the content and features. Now for Mortal Kombat 1, the only real news that I got when it comes to gameplay is that it's gonna be a cameo fighter. Now I don't know what the hell that is, but from the research I've done, it sounds like it's gonna be a game with assistant characters. So it sounds like it's kind of like tag team, but the assistant doesn't have their own move sets. So the assistant, so you have your characters, you have your assistant characters. The assistant characters, it sounds like the assistant characters are just only there to assist the full characters. And it sounds like those characters don't even have their full movesets. They don't even have their own full movesets. So I I don't think I ever played anything like that. Maybe MK9. MK9 had a tag team, but yeah, that was different because your partner had their own full move sets. So I think it's different in some way. And I don't know how I feel about that because I've never played a cameo fighter. I don't think it. I don't think it can be too different from MK9's tag team, because the only difference from what it sounds like is that you just won't be able to you know, your assistant character won't be able to fight like a full character, you know. And yeah, I honestly don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it'll be fun, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I just don't know about that. But as far as how the game plays, that's mainly what I'm keeping my eye out for. Cameo fighter, that's I don't think that's gonna I don't think it's gonna make or break the game. So like I say, what I'm mainly looking for is the fighting mechanics. Like how's the game gonna fight? Is it gonna stay 2D? Are they gonna move to 2.5D? Like stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to June the 8th. And whatever they show, I just basically I just hope it's better than MK11. Like I hope it's faster than MK11, and hope it doesn't have too many features in the fighting system, like the block, like the flawless block, like that was useless. And another thing, I understand. I know how NetherRealm wants to try new things, and I actually encourage that. Because you don't want the same game over and over and over. And as much as I love MKX, the last thing I need is to pay $80 for another MKX. So yeah, I actually encourage them to try new things. It's just the things that you know that don't work, because I'm pretty sure they hear the feedback from the fans, stuff like that. Just don't repeat it. Certain things that don't need to come back, and Mortal Kombat One, like the flawless block system, the fatal blow, that stuff doesn't need to come back. Um, yeah, but yeah. Other than that, though, yeah, I'm ready for June 8th.